Hello, America and the world. Welcome to another episode of Life After Lockup. This is a program that is designed to show the community, society, the public, and the world a different side of incarceration. The life after the lockup is a program designed to show you, the public, how we, the ex-offenders, how we make it, our successes, our tragedies, our disappointments, the things that we have to go through after we have been incarcerated. And hopefully this show will give you that type of education. And if there's anybody out there that ever wants to be a guest on this program, you can contact me, Anthony E. Walton, at 575-3823, area code 270. You can always view this program and any of the other Life After Lockup programs on Paducah2.org. And call your friends, let them know the Life After Lockup is on. We have a special guest with us today, Brother Robert T. Bramley. God bless you, man.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. I know we call you Taman, but your stage name is Robert T.
Robert T. Bramley.
Robert T. Bramley.
Yes.
But listen, it's good to have you today, and we're just going to kind of talk a little bit about you. I know you did about 2 years in prison. Were you actually in the prison, or were you at the county jail?
Yes, I was in prison.
Okay, what prison were you in?
I was at Marion County for like 9 months, and then they moved me to Eastern.
Okay, and now you've been out now for about 9 months, you say?
9 months.
And how much parole you got left?
Well, to 2014.
Okay, so how's the parole and everything been going so far?
Parole is good. Parole is good. I've been blessed with a good parole officer. Let's say good, because he doesn't really bother me. He lets me, live.
Okay, let me excuse me. Let me ask you a question, because a lot of times we are kind of stereotyped. I say that a lot because most of the public look at us after we get out of prison. It's like we're trying to do stuff to get back in. But you've been out for 9 months now. You've been doing well. Tell me if there's a secret. I would say a secret of what is it that you feel like has been helping you thus far.
Okay. Well, the first time. Well, this is my second time being locked up in prison.
Okay.
I stayed out a year the first time, but the first time I knew that I needed to change my outside, and that was kind of easy for me because I was kind of deceiving anyway. I could put on the suit and talk the talk, but I ended up going right back out into the streets again.
Okay.
But this second time, I had to deal with the inside.
Very good.
Sometimes it was easier for me to work on the inside. First, I needed to work on the inside first, and try to find get grounded with God. I really did get grounded with God this time. I didn't do the weight thing, lifting the weights and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I was just at church. I was in church trying to be in church every day because I felt that was what would keep me out this time.
Okay, so in other words, and I think we brought this up on this show quite a bit, your preparation for staying out has to start inside. It has to start inside the prison, right?
Right.
So, and I say this a lot to a lot of people. If you really want to stay out, if you really want to get out and stay out, you got to start preparing for it on the inside. Right. And I know, like what you said, you didn't do a lot of the weights. Now I did some of the weights and stuff during the last year that I was in, but I did a whole lot of inside working, trying to find out who I was, what my reason was for doing what I was doing. So you stayed in church a lot, you got closer to God, yes, and so that kind of gave you a momentum, I guess, to where, so since you've been out, I know you've been, I don't want people to think that I'm just picking Christ Temple people, but you've been coming to church and everything, very faithful. Right. So how do you feel like that has helped you even since you've been out?
Well, it was easy for me to relate with you. Because I had been told about you when I was locked up. I had a friend that was keeping in contact with you, and he was telling me, you need to go to Christ Temple, you need to go to Christ Temple. And my cousin was already going to attending your church, and the day I got out, I said that I need to get to a church. And I got out, I believe it was on a Tuesday, and I went to your the prayer service. And man, since that day, I've been attending,
and you've been very, very faithful and very successful in doing that. And the main thing that you say, and I know keep in mind that there are guys at the county jail right now that are watching this program that are going to be seeing this, and you're seeing some important things that they need to hear. And as I go into the jails, a lot of times I tell them your relationship with God on the inside. You've got to change who you are. You got to change your mindset, and you got to change your heart. But you can't do it yourself, but God can. Right. So you saying that you started doing that, and when you got out, you kept going doing it.
Right.
Now answer this now. How? Because you see it a lot, and I know I've seen it a lot. In jail, people have what they call a jailhouse religion. Right. Now, and I'll be one of the first to admit to that. Right. It's a jailhouse religion. Right. It's like everybody find God when they go to jail, like he lost. Okay, right. but they find him when they go to jail. Then when they get out, they lose him. Right. Okay, but you kept the momentum. Right. How important is that, keeping that momentum?
You have to keep the momentum. It's so easily, you have to be anchored to something. It's so easy once you get out them doors, and you have this what we used to call penitentiary glow. Mm-hmm. It's like everything's attracted to you. Mm-hmm. You get the best sales on the drugs that you used to sell. Mm-hmm. You get the women, and but you have to you need to get you need to anchor yourself as soon as possible, as soon as you leave them doors, because the devil is going to jump on your back. As soon as you walk out, man.
And that's important. Get anchored on something.
You got to get anchored.
That's important, because if you don't, like you said, and this is so true, and people need to hear this. Once you get out, everything just starts coming to you.
Right.
All the friends that never visited you or never put any money on your books, right, all of a sudden they coming back into your life, and like you said, you're getting the best deals on everything, mm-hmm, and that's it's like a setup.
Yeah.
It's like a setup trying to get you right back into the game again, right, but you have to be anchored, and that is so important. How important is it to change your surroundings?
Oh man, that's the key. Places, people, places, and things. But I believe if you change the place, the people, will be in that environment. I change my places. I try to change my places. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm striving to change my places, because I used to go to the clubs and party, and I like to drink. But now I try to stay active in the church. Anything I can do in the church, I try to stay active. That's what keeps me focused.
Good.
Because I know it don't take long. Mm-hmm. I mean, my attention span is, and I might stray off, but.
And you're saying something important, because while you was talking, I was thinking even about myself. Now, I've been out of prison for 21 years, right, and I know there's certain things that I cannot do, certain things that I don't say necessarily that it's a sin, right, but I will not do, because I know that it can take me into an area that I don't want to be in. Right. And a person has to be honest with themselves, right, about their own weaknesses.
Right.
Everybody has their own personal weaknesses. You kind of smiling about it. What are you thinking about that?
Man, I still struggle with weaknesses, mm-hmm, but I feel as long as I stay grounded and keep the momentum going, just, mm-hmm, progress. A little progress is better than no progress.
And that's the key. Sometimes people feel like that they have to get the whole pie.
Right.
As soon as you walk out the door, but no, you gotta gradually start taking off some things and putting some things on. Just like what you just said, it's like there's some progress. Long as you can notice that there's some progress, then that helps.
Right.
It helps, because you know within yourself that things are changing within you.
Right.
And so if things are changing within you, then you're gonna be a better person. Now, with all of this that's happening with you, how do you feel like now the ex-offender support group, because you're a participant in that, you are coming to that, and by the way, just to kind of throw a plug in, we meet every first Monday of the month at the W.C. Young Community Center at 5:30. So how do you feel like that program is working?
Man, I think it's a beautiful thing, because a lot of us don't have support. Luckily, I have a family. I have good family support. Family praying, praying family. But a lot of us don't have support, and like you said, we are stereotyped to be the thug or the rock and roll dude or whatever you want to, mm-hmm, say. But the ex-offender, it really helps me a lot. It helps me stay grounded, and it's good to be able to consult with among each other and learn about,
Yeah, and that's one of the things I guess that we try to do with that is to connect with one another.
Right.
Everybody basically is on the same level.
Right.
We all are ex-offenders. We're coming in, we're talking, we are trying to help to encourage each other, and seeing people like you and seeing some of the other guys that have come in. What it does, it helps, it motivates, it gives hope, and that's the whole purpose of what we try to do, even with this program and even with the ex-offender support group, is to give support to people maybe who are just getting out. Somebody just getting out, because now you said you've been in once before, and while you were in there this last time, what made you feel like that you could get out and stay out? What is it that maybe triggered you, or that made you feel like, okay, this time's got to be different? Were you just sick and tired, or what?
Well, the first time I kind of minimized. I was like, well, I was selling crack this time, but this time I'm gonna get out, and I think I can get by with selling the weed. Okay. Or I can sell marijuana, and I can get by with that. But it didn't work. Okay. It didn't work. But while I was in, man, I was going through a lot of things. Like my mom, she had breast cancer and things, and it wasn't nothing I could do but turn to God. Right. So that really helped me through, because I was doing a lot of praying, and I couldn't do it. It was out of my hands, out of my control. I was kind of helpless. I had reached my bottom. I say, so when you're at the bottom, there's no other way but up. And I was raised in the church, so it was kind of easy for me to go back to that. And I knew what would work for my grandparents, what worked for my grandparents, so I tried that.
And that's important, because reaching bottom, everybody don't reach bottom. Sometimes people go in several times, and in and out, in and out. And it's like when you reach bottom, when you kind of bottom out, that's the time when it seems like, well, I don't have nowhere else to go, but like you said, but up. Now, and I want to make this real clear, because sometimes people feel like, well, I didn't pray when I was out. Right. Why do I want to pray now? What would you tell somebody that says, well, why am I calling on God now that I didn't pray while I was out? Why am I calling on Him now? What would you say to somebody that would say something like that? It's never to you never. Well, God is forgiving, and He's gonna forgive you. It's not, you can't do nothing too bad, too wrong for God to forgive you. And I feel like he even though I've done backslid many a times, man, it's I believe that He's forgiven me, and I know He's done forgiving me. It's a thing, you got to know He's done forgiving. Right, and then and just move from there. Right. Because I heard people say it all the time. I ain't gonna pray now because I didn't pray before. But it doesn't really matter when. It's just time. When time comes, just do it. Because that's the thing that helps all of us is we need some motivation. We need some hope. People need hope to have a better life, and that's what this program is about. That's what the ex-offender support group is about, and that's why sometimes we do get to our lowest points. Right. Like you said, your grandmother was having some issues, and you feeling helpless. I don't know another place in the world where a person can feel helpless is being in prison. When you're in prison, you are helpless. You can't do anything but make a phone call or send out a letter. Right. If somebody don't take care of you, then you have nothing. Right. And that's one of the most helpless places that a person can ever be in. Right. And if especially a young man, being in a place like that, if a person don't get some type of sense of, I've got to do better. I've got to get out of here and do better so that I won't be in this kind of predicament again. I don't know if you, because you said you did 2 years, I did 3, but I know most of that time I spent in there, it's like, this would never happen to me again. I'm never going to let myself get back into this predicament, because people that love me, they need me, and I need them. So I got to be in a place where I can help them.
Right.
And then when you're in a place like that, you can't do anything. You have to depend on them.
Right.
And you said something earlier. How important is family support? Once you, not only while you're in there. Let's deal with while you're in there. Right. How important is support while you're in prison?
Oh man, it's very, very, very important, man. Because there's so many temptations, there's so many things going on in there that you just wouldn't believe, and you need somebody that you can call, man. You need motivation to keep going, because people kill themselves. Some people turn to all kind of things, all kind of things going on in there.
Right, and most people outside don't really realize prison is a whole nother world.
It's another world.
It's a whole nother world, and once you go in, it's almost like you need a link on the outside.
Right.
Just some type of sanity every now and then, whether it be a sister, a mother, wife or husband, or somebody. You need some type of link outside. But then also, how important is it for that person to have limitations on what they do? And let me see if I can explain this. Sometimes people go in prison or in jail, and they expect family to basically take care of them. It's almost like they get so used to it, to going in, to where, or put some money on my books, put this and this, and then I'll be okay. How important is it that the family members need to have some type of limitations? Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Right.
Not make a cripple out of the person,
right,
so that it can be so easy for them to go in again.
Right.
Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the first time that I went in, my mom, she was there, and every visit, my aunts and everything, but this time, because it was more like a mistake. He's made a mistake. Mm-hmm. But this second time, she kind of put the clamps on it.
Okay.
She kind of made me feel that this is prison,
Okay.
It needs to be some limitation, because it might, you don't want to keep coming.
Right.
Yeah. Where they keep coming back, where it's so comfortable for them.
Right. And that is. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just kind of cut you off there.
Oh, you good.
But that is so important. You're saying, because it's the first time you made a mistake and they was just kind of there.
Right.
And it made it. You didn't really feel the full effects.
Right.
Of prison.
Right.
Because they gave you everything. You had everything you needed. I guess money on your books or whatever. Visits, phone calls. Mm-hmm. And the second time you said they put the clamps on you. Yeah,
I was a little bit farther away from home. I was like in Eastern Kentucky.
Okay.
So it was farther away. So it made it. She put the clamps on me, and man.
Tough love, huh?
It got kind of tough. She didn't let me go without, to the point where I would do something
crazy,
or anything. But yeah, she made it. She made me go to the cafeteria 3 times a day.
Good. That's and that's good. It made you feel the effects.
Right.
Of prison,
right.
And that is important, and because I know there are mothers, sisters, or fathers that are looking at this program, and some people, it's new to them. A son going to prison or somebody is new, and they want to make it as comfortable for them as possible. And sometimes that's wrong. Sometimes it's not good to make it that comfortable for them, because it will make it easier sometimes for them to want to go back. Right. But sometimes it's good to back up. Mm-hmm. And make them feel that, hey, this is prison. This is not the Holiday Inn.
Right.
This is not a boys' camp. This is prison, and you're gonna have to deal with some of the woes of prison. Otherwise, it will be easy.
Yeah.
It'll be easy to go back. Now you said something earlier too, and I wanted to comment on. Now, I've always said, I don't know if this is true or not, because I've always said that the dealer is just as addicted as the user. Do you feel like that is something true?
Oh yes, yeah. It's an addiction. It's an addiction. Once you get a hold to the drug money, you're not gonna want to work for $6.50 an hour.
Right.
It's just too easy. The drug game is just too easy. And I remember it was times, man, where I wanted God to just tip me over You remember you gave a sermon on tip you over. It's like, just hand me over. Let me do what I want to do.
Right.
And I had ran into times like that where I wanted to be a successful dope dealer. I wanted to be the best. So I asked God to tip me over, and man, I'm glad He didn't. I didn't really know what I was asking for.
No,
for
you
real.
really don't, man.
And I'm just glad. I'm glad He didn't, man, because I was in it was an addiction.
And I think sometimes people don't understand that because a person would rather go to court and say, well, I'm a user, so I can just get charged with possession. But sometimes they're not really as honest with themselves as being a dealer, because there is an addiction there with that money. Because I can say for sure that I was addicted to the money when I was out doing all of my dirt. It was a money addiction, and there has to be some deliverance in that, and you have to have it within yourself to be able to want to work a regular job, to make honest money. A change has got to come inside a person to want that. Otherwise, that easy money, the opportunity is going to come. How have you been dealing with that? Because now you're doing things. You own your own business or whatever. You know, you are I would say on the way to success or whatever. How have you been dealing with that?
You have to have patience, man. You have to have patience. It's been kind of difficult. It's been slow at times, but I always look back. They say don't look back at the penitentiary, but I know where I come from, how it was, how uncomfortable it was, and I was working for 73 cents a day.
Thank you.
So I don't mind being patient, and I know that God has a plan for me, and I believe, and I can see the progress in it. Just being patient. That's what everybody was telling me, man. My family was telling me, just be patient. It's gonna come. It's gonna come, and that's what I've been doing. And they've been really supportive, and the church has been supportive. So I mean, everything's going well for me.
Good. You said when you hit important things, I got to comment on it. People said don't look back. I don't know who says that, but I say all the time. You better take a look back every now and then and realize how uncomfortable it was, because sometimes that is what keeps you focused on staying out. And sometimes people don't remember. You said 73 cents a day. You know, and you were making more than I was making. You know, this was and you worked hard. You got up early and you went to work and you got off and you came back to your cell or whatever. So, and you were faithful to that because it was a job and it put money on your book. So $73 a day versus 73 cents a day. Let me get that right. 73 cents a day versus $6 an hour. I mean, come on, there's no comparison. So sometimes, which one would you rather do? You much rather be out making a little bit more, you know. But then even on top of that, and these are things that we have to bring out, especially in this particular program. Once a person gets out, and once they do their time, how much help from society do we need?
We need a whole lot of help. We need a lot of help. I think we need to have more attention. We need to spend more attention on that, because if you notice, the turnover rate is just
great.
It's great. So we do need to have more people like you that provide and put more attention on it.
Okay, and because society sometimes, and the workplaces, they don't want to hire ex-offenders. They and sometimes even because of depending on your charge, you can't stay in certain places, and sometimes a person get out of prison, they have absolutely nowhere to go at all. They have no job prospects. They have no place to stay, no family, and they get let out. And once a person did their time, we need society to give us an opportunity to get back into society, because we can't do it ourselves. Sometimes our family is limited to what they can do. They can pray, they can give us support, they can give us somewhere to stay sometimes, but then we have to work. And sometimes with child support piling up, with fines and all these things that we have to pay, sometimes a $6.25 an hour just don't get it for us. So we need opportunities for good decent jobs that we qualify for.
Right.
Not giving us a handout, but
Right.
giving us a chance.
Right. Before survival mode kicks in.
Right.
To where we go back to what we know worked.
Right. And I say that a lot, survival mode, because a person has to survive. They've got to eat, and sometimes people do stuff just to go back to prison. I knew a guy that every winter he would commit a crime so that he could get off the streets.
Yeah.
And go have some shelter, and that is just not good for our society to be to have on their record. There's so many thousands of people that get out of prison every single day, and these people, if without shelters, without places that provide strictly for ex-offenders, they are just out there. Right. They're just out there. Thank God for families, for sisters, for mothers, for fathers, for uncles, for family members that take people in. Yeah. But what about the other ones, those that don't have that? You were blessed. You had a family. You had people that at least that cared about you, that were willing to take you in. Right. But what if you hadn't had that? What kind of life would you have now after 9 months if you did not have family that were willing to help you? Hard to think about it.
I might not be here today.
Right.
I might not be here today, man. But I advise you get to a church, get you a church family. If you don't have a regular family, just get to a church family where you can get spiritually fed.
Okay, and even with that, because we have a Jumpstart program, a house that we try to help people to stay in after they get out or whatever. But sometimes even with church, and I don't mean any harm about that. Our church happened to be a church that has got a lot of ex-offenders and things of that nature in it. But there are sometimes even churches, sometimes they reject people. And people are ashamed to be labeled as an ex-offender. Now you come into this program. If people didn't know, they're gonna know from now on.
Right.
And not only that, people gonna be tapping into this program all over the country, and you're gonna be known now as an ex-offender, but a successful one. Yeah. So there are a lot of people that are ashamed even to admit to it, even to the church. And this is a place where we ought to be have our arms open to help people to come to say, hey, we are embracing you. We care about you. We might not have a whole lot of money to give you. We might not be able to put you up, but we can love you. We can embrace you as one of our own. Right. And as we are talking, because we only have a few seconds left, but as we're talking, I want the people out there to know that we need your help. We cannot do it without you. Churches need to be more open. Job opportunities need to be more open. Housing places need to be more open, because if you don't help us, if they don't help us, then where are we going to be? Right. Where are we going to be? And again, we are just excited about you being out 9 months, you say?
Yeah, 9
months. And you're on a momentum now that where I can't see nothing but good for you.
On cruise control.
I hear you now. Cruise control. That's great, man. No. But because you're on your way now, and that's good. Stay focused, and somebody's out there watching you. They are looking at you for support, for hope, and just keep that momentum, because whether you know it or not, people are watching. That's right. And I want to say to America and the world, thank you so much again for being a part of this program. Thank you for watching Life After Lockup. Again, Paducah2.org. If you want to be a guest on this program, 270-575-3823. Call me and we'll set it up. God bless you. Thank you so much, and you have a marvelous day.